don't realize how important moving is until you've talked to some professionals to help you understand. Stay tuned for more, everybody. From sunrise to sunset. Giddy up. Hey, everybody, we're back. This is the Your Little Castle Show. We get to talk to those who are leading in our community, the experts that are making things happen. And so we decided to bring in some movers and shakers, but they're literally movers and shakers. These guys have been doing moving now for a long time. I had my cowboy hat on. If you missed that first half hour, tune in for that, because these guys share all the trade secrets that they were willing to put up in front of everybody to say, hey, here's what you need to do. If you're going to move, do things right. And I was blown away. I said, oh, yeah, how many reviews you got? There are over 3,100 reviews, 5.0 average. Somebody knows what they're doing here. So we're going to dive right back in here and talk about it. But we'll start off with, and I want to finish up a little bit, but what is the biggest mistake? I can assume so many people, the infamous do-it-yourselfer. And I fall guilty to that, but what would you say is the biggest mistake? And we talked about price, and I guess that falls along the lines of somebody trying to do it themselves. And not that that can't be done, but what are some of the things people are really putting at risk when they do it themselves?
I would say inexperience, is the big thing, not like we had a guy, for example, we had him scheduled for an 8 to 9 a.m. arrival. And he wanted to go ahead and get started loading the truck before we got there. This was a do-it-yourself move, because we do provide services for people that want to do it themselves. Like, we'll come out professionally load your U-Haul for you or unload it for you. But this gentleman went ahead and got started before the crew got there at 7. We were set to arrive at 8. He had him and his buddy over. They decided that they were going to move a gun safe from the basement up to the top floor. Well, unfortunately, what ended up happening was he ended up breaking his leg. His entire fibula, his tibia, his femur, like in the process of moving this gun safe. So he had to have his wife supervise the entire move. He sat in the hospital all day. And I mean, these are like real things that happen when you're, in homes moving heavy items and you're not experienced and you're not doing this every day. You might have a dresser that weighs, 200-300 pounds, or, just awkward items like a kitchen table that you got to fish through a doorway.
You might break your leg. Or you just might scratch the heck out of your really expensive furniture.
Not knowing how to pack a truck either is a big thing. You know what I mean? If that truck's not professionally packed and you're not stacking things the correct way or utilizing that room effectively, you can find yourself in a situation where you thought you needed 1 U-Haul, now you need 2, and now it's costing you more money than it would have just cost to hire the professionals.
And I'm thinking about the storage units that I have in a situation personal. But yeah, we've got 5 storage units, and I know that if these things had been packed more efficiently, it's $300 a month. I can only imagine you help with the storage side of this too, so people can.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we got
put it in the place.
10,000 square foot storage facility over in Maryland Heights, so
okay.
That's where we do all of our storage at, and we have vaults there, so your items get specifically put in a vault, label with your name on them, and so
and they get closed up and no one ever touches them. Yeah. So it's secure. It's a locked facility. There's cameras everywhere. So if somebody even breathes near that place, they're getting caught on camera.
That's right.
High level security, everybody. Almost like they have gold. I think we talked about gold.
Like I said, this guy was in the Air Force, so he's pretty versed in security.
Okay, that's important. Very, very good stuff. All right, well, residential or commercial, you say you do focus on residential primarily, is that true? But you help schools and offices, people moving, that's commercial. That's commerce. It's not like a television commercial, but along those lines. Tell me what percentage of each and what you enjoy about both.
I would say probably about 80-20. 80% of our work is going to be primarily residential, house-to-house moves, apartment to apartment. About 20% commercial. There's not really any move that's too small for us. There's not any move that's too large for us. Biggest thing with commercial is, again, just even if you're somebody that, has a school like we've helped move in the past, just validating the moving company, making sure that they have, the right insurance, the right manpower, the right quality. Because that's another big thing in, commercial is just quality of service, making sure you're hiring a reputable provider to come out there and get the job done for you.
Yeah, as a business owner, you might be some files or some client-related stuff, and all that stuff needs to be handled properly, or else you're looking at potential big lawsuits.
Oh yeah,
Someone may
absolutely.
be in trouble there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've moved a lot of, big companies with a lot of IT equipment, computers. So, we offer packing services. It's in the name, Sunrise Moving and Packing. So, not only do we move, we actually come out there, pack boxes up, make sure that things are, professionally placed in the box, labeled. So, that's another big value when it comes to commercial work. It's just having those professional packers out there. Make sure things are.
We talked about it a little bit in the first show, but yeah, it's just not just in I think we're going to hire these guys for a job I've got lined up too. But as a matter of, you can get the U-Haul yourself, but you guys will help to provide the resources, because you don't hiring a crew of guys that are equipped, trained, and understanding and insured. That's something else that if somebody wants to save a few bucks, but you help provide everything else in between and make sure and allow people to do a couple different ways they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the big thing is, we don't, like, if you have a budget, we'll work with you. We'll work with any kind of client. That's why we do help out with the do-it-yourself moves, and that's why we offer full-service moves, because we have a budget. We have a quality of service for everybody. You could still get the 5-star company out there at an affordable price, and you could still rent your own U-Haul. We'll still come out there, like I said, professionally load it for you. So I don't want you to think that you don't have any other option of getting it done professionally just because you rented a U-Haul.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was even an option. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Tell me about it. All right, so tell me the time when I can only imagine it's all those reviews. I could probably just read some of those reviews. We'll put those back up if you want to take a quick glance there, everybody. But these guys have been doing this for a while and have literally thousands and thousands of people that have said wonderful things about them. So check out those reviews. But tell me, somebody that stands out in your mind, Nick, if you will start off with me, a time when you had to help somebody that was in a tough situation and you had to say, "Oh, hold on, we got you." Somebody left them out on a limb that didn't finish the job to start with, or whatever.
Oh yeah, the end of the month is that I mean, where do I start? At the end of the month, a lot of moving companies overbook, and then we get the last minute calls. And what we've implemented as a company is we have a reserve crew. So we have a bunch of crews that come usually around like the 28th through the 30th. We keep reserve crews on deck that stand at the warehouse, and when we get those calls, then we send them out there. Another tough situation, we do a lot of divorce moves, and they're usually pretty chaotic.
Right.
But we're there to help each party get their their belongings sorted and then moved properly and efficiently.
Well, yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, how often is it the case? The house has got to get sold, so then to divvy up the ownership of the property, but then you've got all the things inside the house. Obviously, they got to get moved, and then there's going to be a fight over. Well, I bought that television. Well, you guys sort that all out, but by the time they get there, you guys are taking stuff to their proper new destination and helping them sort that out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, lots goes in this moving process, and if you don't pay attention, you don't think about it, it can affect a lot of people in many different ways. Well, tell me, what would you say is one of the biggest challenges you guys have had to overcome as a business owner? You guys realize what it takes to organize a team. You said you've got 100 employees now.
Yeah,
that work for
around
you.
100.
When you're managing 100 people, everybody, I can tell you, I know what it's like to manage like 5. When you get to where you're managing 100, you've got teams managing teams. What's it like to have an organization of that size?
I would say like one of the biggest challenges with any business owner is just maintaining the quality as you start to scale. Once you get to a certain size, what I've noticed with a lot of companies is the quality is diminished. And I'm not going to say any names specifically or anybody even in the moving industry, but just customer service everywhere seems to be a lost art nowadays. So, and
that 5.0 stars, how do you manage that with having 100 employees but still getting a 5.0? That means you're paying very close attention to what
it's just systems, processes, weekly meetings with the team, just reviewing, recapping the core values of the company, just validating the reasons that we're all here. Like I said, we hire based off our 4 core values. Our biggest thing is integrity, do the right thing when nobody's watching. If that's something that if that's an area that you lack in, we don't want to do business with you. You know what I mean? We like doing business with honest people that's hardworking, and people that know how to bite down on their mouthpiece when the day's long and hard out there and get the job done.
stick with it, work hard all the way through. Nick, we appreciate this philosophy. Is that the strategy that you've seen work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to hire people that like you said, do the right thing when nobody's looking. For me, being in the Air Force, like the core values are in the Air Force are integrity first, service before self, and excellence in everything you do. And I kind of took that piece from being in the Air National Guard and said we're going to apply it to this business. And we came up with our 4 core values, and we hire based on those principles.
There you go. Well said, and thank you for your service. And
Thank you.
There's so much you gain from the military background. I went off to the college thing. A bunch of my buddies went off to Camp Lejeune and Okinawa
Oh, yeah.
and serving our country. But literally, like, there's so much discipline you learn. It's almost like to the point now. Should everyone be required to serve in our military? Because there is a lot you learn. The discipline, like I said, the things that they do the job no matter what, even when people aren't looking. Integrity, right? They talk about that. But very important for what we want to bring to the quality of our business. It affects the way the business is run. Yeah. What is it that most people have a question about, though? I can imagine, like, when you've got a big move like this and somebody's saying, all right, is it always price, or is it a matter of, hey, what are the questions that people have when they're considering hiring you guys?
A lot of times, yeah, you will get, like, I call them tag shoppers, for lack of better words, people that are strictly just, shopping around for price, and they're looking for the absolute cheapest thing. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult helping those people understand the value of why you should hire a professional moving company. And then also another thing is just not to get so hung up on the hourly rate. Because like Nick said, we do our market research. We're not the most expensive company. We're not the cheapest company. But the proof is in the pudding. We are the only company with 3,200, Google reviews, 5-star rated. So
that's impressive.
It's just just a testament to the quality of the service that we bring. It's going to cost you a lot more money and damages, or that company that doesn't show up when you have them scheduled. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing like a long distance move and I have to be out of my house because it sold today, and then just for my moving company to not show up, then I'm scrambling around last minute to find movers. We have never done that. We do over 3,000 moves a year, and we have never no-showed a customer. We've maybe been late to a job a couple times just for unforeseen circumstances, but we've never no-showed a customer out of every single move we've done.
And out of thousands and thousands of jobs.
25,000 plus moves completed. Never rescheduled a customer.
25,000.
Never no-showed a customer.
Wow. And I want to go back to something that you made the point in the first show, and I want to emphasize. But it's like, we talk about this all the time, but getting cheap can be very expensive. Yeah, you can save a few bucks, but when then that truck has now caused a problem, when you ran into a rail, they damaged the moving merchandise, the furniture, whatever it is. Now where you saved a few bucks, now you're costing yourself quite a bit more. And if you'd just hired somebody from the beginning to do it right, you wouldn't be dealing with all this.
Well, and that's like equipment is everything, right? Like we invest in newer trucks. A lot of companies, you might get picked at, the fly-by-night companies, and they show up and their truck leaks oil all over your driveway, and then you're having to pay thousands of dollars to get that cleaned up.
Or even they got holes in the roof of their truck, and next thing you know,
water.
there's a big rainstorm, and then now all your stuff's getting wet. Or
it sounds like a story you've had happen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's situations too where people, companies have moved people with bed bugs and then never got their trucks fumigated afterwards. And I mean, that's another thing you got to be very conscientious of. That's why it's important to have like clean trucks out there. You got to think, like, does this company wash their moving blankets? Does this company take the necessary procedures to make sure that, like, this person's, like, filth, for lack of better words, is not getting on my stuff,
Right.
So.
Yeah, I know for hotels, big bed bugs are a big issue, but you're moving, with the packing stuff that you've gotten, you're using these quilts. What do you call those packing quilts, packing covers?
Moving blankets.
Moving blankets.
Yep.
Yeah, you're literally like, that's getting used by one family and then taken over to another. And passing on that sharing of flora and other things, which is things you don't necessarily want to share, something to consider too, and make sure that, wow, there's so much that goes into running a business. That's why, again, we go back to why you hire experts. We're going to jump back in here and talk a little bit more about the community. We'll continue with our Braxton video, and these guys actually recognize somebody who's in the video. So check this out and stay tuned for more here as we continue, everybody. Giddy up. All right, everybody, we're outside of Patios. This is where all the best baseball fans go. Get a good picture right there of Patios there. And you say your name is
I'm Tyler.
Tyler, right? Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Who's your favorite player, and why do you love the Cardinals?
I'm kind of a Mason Wynn guy as well. Young guy, bad on injuries, and love the grit and adversity for the kids. So.
Well, back in the day, my favorite player was also a shortstop by the name of Ozzie Smith. All right. So if you guys don't mind, let's take off our glasses for a quick second here, so we get to know the crowd a little better. You got it. I'm gonna hold the trophy. This thing's heavy, isn't it? Looks heavier on TV. You got it. All right. That's how you do it, right there. Hold the trophy. On the count of 3, let's go Cardinals. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Let's go Cardinals! Way to go, Braxton. Give me some knuckles. Woo! Tyler, you're awesome.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Good work. We'll see you inside the Cardinal game.
Thank you.
Is that cool? Thank you.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up. Well, there you have it, everybody. Those metal guys, talking about it here, there's the whole gold world. But now they can print coins and put your own logo on them right there. This is a real metal coin, and got the Cardinal Cowboy hanger. But there's always ways to market, ways to get it out, get your message out there, and that's where we talk about media. Magnetize Your Media, the book that I wrote the foreword for, that ended up being the first chapter, but this book outlines it for you. It talks about how media has really changed. We had a little off-camera discussion with these guys. They know their stuff, and if you want to learn more about it. But tell me then, how has the world changed in the media world? Has this internet thing, is this internet thing catching on? That's my joke. But
absolutely, yeah, 100%. I would say like most of our business does come from Google. I think we live in a world of like automation and convenience nowadays. That's why Amazon is such a successful business and one of the largest businesses. People want answers now, or they want things now, or service now. So one of the biggest things people do when they are shopping for a moving company is they'll go to Google, moving companies near me, be the information that they type in, and they're going to look at probably the top 3 that are present to them that rank, and they're probably going to pick one of those 3 companies. So it's just important if you are running a business, to just make sure that your online equity is really good and that you're very recognized and you're noticed, because it's kind of this equivalent of what word of mouth was back then, or
Right.
a lot of people used to do business based off handshakes and conversations, but nowadays it's definitely a totally different atmosphere.
Caleb, you've seen this happen. I'm sorry, Caleb. Nick, you're Caleb. We were just talking. Nick, but you've seen this happen too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and there's what I'll say is there's so many moving companies out there. There's so many choices. So investing in your marketing to get your message out there, because people need to know why we're the best. So that's why we've invested so much in our reviews, asking every customer, and if there was an issue, fixing it there right on the spot. So internet, like I said, you take a look at our Facebook page. We spend a lot of money on this. This is something that's really important to us, is getting our name out there and our reputation.
Yeah, and it comes back because then people always want to know who they're dealing with, what's going on with this company, how are they renowned in the community, and you guys.
Yeah, I don't think there's any amount of money that you could spend on marketing that would be considered a bad investment. Like, usually if you put a penny in, you're always going to get 2 pennies back. I mean, that's just how marketing works. So if you're a business owner, like, double down on your marketing and make sure that's where you're spending money.
You heard it here, everybody, and this is so true. So many people I know, they do great jobs, but they just don't let people know what they're doing. And so how do you find out about somebody if you don't have a website, if you don't have some social media? Here's some guys that know how to do it and have done very well with it. Well, let's jump in here then. Tell me the process. I can only imagine by now they're going, all right, these guys know what they're doing. How does somebody get started with it? Pretty easy. It looks like the website is the primary place.
Yeah, you could go to our website and you can fill out a quote form. We'll give you a call typically within 5 minutes. I mean, our sales reps are very responsive, very on top of it. But normally somebody would call in for a quote and they would be greeted, with a warm welcome. Thank you for choosing Sunrise Moving. This is XYZ. How can I help you today? We'll go through the quoting process with you. We are a lot different than most companies. A lot of companies will want to do a virtual tour of the home with you. They'll want to come out and look at the stuff. We're, again, all about convenience. We're like the Amazon Prime of moving, so we'll give you a quote there right on the phone. We'll say, hey, if you could picture yourself walking through the front door of your home, starting in the first room you see, giving me a tour of the home, going room by room, listing off the items. That'll help us make sure we got the right amount of guys out there for you, and we're giving you the most accurate quote. So we could give a quote like that. We could do a virtual quote. We could come out to your house. So we have a quoting process that fits everybody. And then from that point, it's really just keeping constant communication with the customers. We'll follow up with our customers. Hey, how's the pack going? Is everything packed up? Are you still on schedule to get moved on XYZ date? Do you need help with any kind of packing out there? Do you need help with any kind of junk removal? You got anything you want to get rid of? And then just calling and confirming them the day before just to make sure that they're ready to go. And so that's essentially how the entire quoting process works from start to finish.
Nick, it sounds like you guys have this process nailed down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we preach sales to our sales reps. I mean, like, just meeting the demand for the customers. When they put a quote in or fill out our quote form on our website, then it goes into a funnel, and then they get immediately contacted by our sales reps. But then we always make sure to follow up in the least annoying way possible, because that's the thing is when you are getting multiple quotes from moving companies out there, just know that once you've given them their information, they are going to contact you, because this is a very competitive industry. But our process we like to follow, we want to win people's business, because we want to do business with people, and I'm losing my train of thought here.
More or less, like we're gonna fight. We're the company that's gonna fight for your business.
I like that. Okay, there it was. Okay.
I mean, we're the undisputable champs when it comes to fighting for somebody's business. Listen, that's because we want to do business with you. We want to make a difference in the community, and we want to make sure that that person's getting 5-star service. Everybody deserves 5-star service. Like, if you're receiving anything less than that, give us a call. Every time.
And obviously it's something you will take care of, because that's how I can't imagine every single job was always done perfectly. That's impossible. Yeah. But And just sometimes when I'm talking, I get stumbled on, and I go, but hey, we're going to make it right. We're going to fix this, because that's how you handle things.
I'm a little bit of, I got a little OCD. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I want to ensure that things are done the right way. And when things aren't done the right way, it bothers me pretty bad. And I go back to the drawing board. I'm like, what areas could we improve on here? How could we make this better for our customers the next time? And that's another thing about choosing a company, making sure that like you have a company that's been vetted, that's learned from their mistakes. Because again, not every company is perfect. We're going to make mistakes, but it's about taking the necessary steps to ensure that those mistakes don't happen 2, 3, 4, or 5 times.
Very, very true.
Say another thing I wanted to touch on too. I mean, like, touch on me a little stumbling over my words there, but we are real people that own this. Like we're not some big conglomerate that. Some private equity firm that doesn't care. You're just a number. This is just an investment. This is our business. This is our livelihood. This is how we feed our family. So, I mean, this is our bread and butter, and we're going to make sure that your move gets executed with precision.
That's what I like to see people see, and we're all just let it be the real you, whoever it is, and we all understand that nobody on this planet is perfect, but just as they know it's the real you, no matter what that is.
Yeah, the authenticity.
Authenticity. Yeah. There we go. That's what people want to see. So even when I can't think of the words, we got
Caleb
here to help us. Thank you for helping and keeping the show going here. But literally, I mean, that's just what we want. We just want something real. We're tired of the quick flash, click, text, email, BS. I won't say what the BS stands for, but I can say that. I think ABC will let me know if there's something I have to edit there. But keep it real and let us know what we're dealing with so that we can make a decision, because we all have to get on with our lives. And moving is something that none of us look forward to, but it's something that we need help with if somebody's going to do it right.
And I think every day we're just bombarded with advertisement, like in your face. Like if you're like scrolling through Facebook, I mean, you're getting hit with ad after ad after ad after ad. And I think, what we bring to the table as a company is that we are personable. We are people. Like when you call in, you're not gonna, speak. You're gonna speak to an American for that. That's a lot of companies have gone away. They've gone the cheap
virtual
route.
assistants. Yeah, we have American-based customer service.
So. That's what I wanted to touch on is,
and that's a huge point that I'd like to add to, is like American-based customer service. Like how many times have you called, a company, and unfortunately you're talking to somebody that doesn't speak the same language as you, or they don't speak it fluently, or they're not able to be empathetic towards your problems. And that's why, we might be a little bit more expensive, because we actually do pay for that, in the country, American-based customer service, because we want our customers to know that we care about what you're saying, we value what you're saying, and we're empathetic towards what you're saying, and we can relate to it.
There you have it, everybody. We all want to find the companies that are going to take the time to do it right. That little extra does cost a couple extra bucks maybe, but it pays off because it's done right. You don't have to redo it. You're not spending more time deciphering the confusion with whatever was being said that people didn't understand. And so we appreciate you guys taking the time to be on our show here. 2 full half hours, everybody. These guys really do know their stuff. If you'd like more information, check them out, sunrisemovingandpacking.com. Stay tuned for more, everybody. This is the Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up.